So in the Silknow project, we are also integrating, as you have seen, a number of museums objects, and what we aim to build is this knowledge graph that describe all the textiles that are representing objects that we can find in those museums. So in particular, as you have seen, we are crawling data from a very large number of museums. Sometimes this is also museums that are part of the consortiums or companies like Garin, which provide us descriptions of cultural heritage objects describing textiles. So at the moment, in the Silknow knowledge graph, we are aggregating data from all those museums that you can see here being depicted. At the center, at the heart of the knowledge graph, we are using semantic web technologies to integrate all this data. So this is the list of the data sets that we are currently integrating, and we have developed an open source crawler that can get data from those different museum websites. Earlier on, you have seen the chosen Silknow data model, which is based on CDOC CRM, and the Silknow thesaurus that we have developed with our cultural heritage experts in order to describe at a very fine-grained level the concepts that describe those objects. At the end, this is a visualization of the knowledge graph. We can see that the main object is this artifact that you can see in a museum, and which is being described with a number of properties, being the dimension of the object, its visual representation, its depiction, but also information about the productions, like what technique has been used to produce this textile, which material has been used, where and when this textile has been produced, and so on and so on. All links are clickable. So here, for example, we are seeing an object which is related to another object which comes from the Joconde database, which happens to be a French object for which the title is a ruban en soie et or, with a number of, but represents floral patterns. This knowledge graph integrates data from a lot of museums. Now we are able to do queries that was not possible to do before on a single museum site. This query shows us items that have been created by a particular author. And by the way, we are enriching information with background knowledge, with encyclopedia type of information. So in this case, we have disambiguated Philippe de la Salle with its Wikipedia page from different languages, or its Wikidata identity into this knowledge base. So we have this person who has been the author of a number of objects. More generally, we have asked the cultural heritage to make a long list, a wish list of questions that they would love to be able to answer. Those are examples of queries that shows the power of the knowledge graph. For example, an expert may be interested to have all the objects that correspond to dresses with the cotton material. So this is the query. It's not that useful, but this is the results. So here we can see a number of objects with their title, the material that they are used, which of course includes cotton, because this is what I wanted, and the source museum they're coming from. And we see a number of museums, such as the Victor and Albert Museum, or the Metropolitan Museums, or the Rhode Island Museums, and so on and so on. And again, all those links are clickable. So here, for example, it was a boy's dress that I can click on, and I can get its visual representation that depicts these objects in large. So this is a boy's dress made of cotton. I can do even more complex queries, like finding objects, not anymore only dresses, but all sorts of objects with cotton from a particular region, let's say Italy, from a particular period, let's say the 18th century. So of course, here I'm applying many more filters. The query is slightly more complex, takes a bit more time to be executed, but here are those objects that we end up with their material, and we can check it's all cotton in this case. The region, so mostly Italy, but you see that sometimes the cultural heritage experts were not completely clear about the production location. So here it may be North Africa or Europe. Same for the dates. Sometimes it's 17th centuries. And again, the various museums it's coming from. And I have a third query here, even more complex, which includes a number of material, but not a particular material, in this case gold, again from a particular century. You remember this visualizations shown earlier on to justify the chosen data model in Silknow. Here in this case we have three chasuble type of textile coming from, or clothes coming from different museums, and a common data model to represent this. Well, we can now explore the Silknow knowledge graph, because maybe you're interested into those chasubes or any other type of objects made of Damasco, produced in a country during a particular period. And here they are. You will get those depictions of chasubes or objects, and you can browse again the knowledge graph to see all those results, and be able to click on any single objects to have more information about each object. And again, this is possible because we have integrating a large number of museums that now can be queried as a single virtual database. Thanks for your attention.